story, and there's something to be learned from every experience. Use your life as a class. Lesson 1, be wealthy in wellness. As many of you know, I spend my day as a wealth manager, and what that involves is meeting with individuals to help them identify their goals around their finances, their life, and their careers. We then create plans around those goals, and I help them take action. Through the work that I've done this work for 10 years now, and through this time, I have seen the spectrum of life, from birth to death and everything that can come in between. I've seen the spectrum of wealth, from poverty to abundance. And the thing that rings true on both of those spectrums is if you do not have your health, nothing else matters. I had to learn this for myself through an experience that I went through where I was not well for a period of time. And for me, that involved figuring out what food was going to work best for my body. During this period of time, the biggest lesson that I learned is that our bodies speak to us, but we have to be willing to listen, and we have to be in a place where we can listen. As I was going through my food elimination diets, one thing that became very clear is my body did not like eggs. And it would speak very loudly to me when I would eat eggs, and not kindly. And this was devastating because I love eggs. Like, I get romantic about eggs. And so I called my mom, and I was lamenting the loss of my life. And it was going on, I'm sure. And she just kind of stops me and she says, "Jess, that makes sense." And I was mad. I was like, "It doesn't make sense, Mom. As far as I know, as long as I can remember, I've been eating eggs every single day. I probably did this to myself somehow." And she said, "Well, when you were little, if I fed you eggs in the morning, you would get in a fight at school. So I learned just to not feed you eggs, and then you wouldn't get in fights at school." And this is how we did food testing in the early 90s. Our bodies speak to us. So what's your body saying to you? And are you willing to listen? Lesson 2, my religion is love. Some of you may be surprised to find out that I identify as a Christian and have been a Christian for the majority of my life and still hold true to that faith today. This may be surprising to some of you because on the outside I don't fit always the Christian culture. I cuss, I live in sin with my boyfriend, I have tattoos, and that's because the Christian faith has always meant more to me than just a culture. The Christian faith is what I believe guides my soul, and I believe we all have a soul. And how I define that is we all have a still small voice inside of us that is guiding us in our passions and our motivations. It speaks kindness to us, it speaks love to us, and we oftentimes allow in all the other voices of negativity, voices that demotivate us, and that are loud. When I get to a place where I can hear my soul, what my soul is most often saying to me is one word, repeated just over and over again. And it's love. Love, love, love. What if love was the only option? Respond in love. Expect love. Personally, I cannot think of the word love and not think of my papa. My papa is my mom's dad, so he's my grandpa, but we've always called him Papa. And if you met him, you would call him Papa as well. Papa is love. He loves everyone he meets. He does not know how to not love. For as long as I can remember, my papa has called me this, Jess is Papa's love. It's an awkward nickname, because it's not just one word, but it's more of a statement. Jess is Papa's love. If you spend 5 minutes with us, you'll hear him say it. And I thought about that recently. What does that really mean? Jess is Papa's love. And to me, what it means is I am the manifestation of his love. And it got me thinking, what will be the manifestation of my love? What's your soul saying to you? Are you willing to listen? Lesson 3, warrior through the valleys. Speaking of love, I love being in love. My first great love lasted 11 years, and it was no surprise to me when that love came to an end. My second love started very quickly after. I do plan on it being my last great love, and he's sitting right here. The end of that first great love was the hardest thing that I've had to go through in my life. And I heard something during that time that I found to be extremely helpful. When life hands you crisis, and when life turns upside down on you, gather everything in your life up and put it on top of a big sifter. One of those big sifters you see at the sandbox. Put everything on top and start sifting. Whatever remains on top of that sifter, once you're done sifting things out, is what you pick up and you carry forward. This came from Glennon Doyle, who is a well-known author and public speaker, and she herself has overcome many life crises. Glennon describes herself as a mountaintop girl. Glennon describes herself as a valley girl, but not a valley girl in the way that we think when we hear people say, I'm from the valley. Glennon described it as, most people want to be a mountaintop girl. They want to be on top of the mountain. They want to have conquered it all. And she said, not me. I like being down in the valley. I like being with people when they're in the trenches and coming alongside them. When I heard this, it was as if I was putting on clothing that had been tailor-made for me. She was able to put into words what I had felt my whole life and what I felt like really my purpose for being here was. I love being down in the valley alongside people, not to fix them, not to change them, and not to push them through their valley, but to be alongside them, warrioring, to help them understand they can trust themselves, that they are resilient, and they can get through whatever life has handed them. You have to warrior when you're in the valley. And the interesting thing about that, my last name, Chad, means warrior. This, I believe, is the identity that will carry me through to the end of my days. What is that thing carrying you through? What's that thing pushing you each and every day? Everyone has a story, and every experience has a lesson to be learned. Use your life as a class. Class dismissed.